This is your market recap for September, not September anymore, October 6th, 2025. Today we played bullish. We had a little bit of a retrace um, at the beginning of market open, but honestly, we have just played entirely bullish today, given, Monday and there's no sell side wick. Let's see. Low is at 94, but the open is also at 94. So there is not a single tick of sell side action today. Um, go down to the 4 hour, we can see here, market opened here and just cranked up. Now, we had this higher time frame SMT of these highs here, which did make me play bearish at the beginning of market open, but then some other stuff happened. We ended up getting an SMT of these lows down here, which then switched my bias back to bullish, because if we have an SMT on the buy side, which then causes market to go down, and then we get a sell or an SMT of sell side, that's canceling out the previous SMT, and so this is the only one standing, meaning we're playing bullish. If we go down to the hourly time frame, you can see it more clearly here. SMT here pushes us down. Now, usually an SMT like this on the 4 hour time frame, we're looking for it to sweep some sort of significant low or hit some sort of array. Now, there's this tiny 4 hour fair value gap right here, but other than that, there's just liquidity, right? So that's why I had this target marked out on both NQ and ES, and obviously if there's a sell side SMT, it got hit on ES but not NQ, which made me switch my bias um, from bearish to bullish. Now, from there, we expanded upwards for the rest of the day, took out all-time highs, or this morning's high, and then failed to close above it, and then continued or started to fall over from there. Not much on the 15-minute as far as arrays or anything goes. You can see market opens, falls out of bed, barely sweep this low, don't close a body below it, even over here. Ton of SMTs between these lows. This is where market kind of turned to crap here. My bias was right today, but I did end up losing just due to these market conditions. And looking back, I may have been able to predict, or not predict, but recognize that the market was in an untradeable position um, before I entered, and then henceforth not enter. But once again, this it's not showing up on this time frame, but once I go down to the 5 minute, you should see it. This low right here and this low here are an SMT, but technically it was this one as well. So that's what I based my trade off of for there. 5 minute, as far as sell side support goes, apart from this SMT here, is this 5 minute inverse for value gap right there. Starts over here as bullish. We get a nice reaction there. Reacted, closed above it, came below it, and so we retraced up to it. Nice closures within it, and then obviously we fall out of bed to here. And then that's where the SMT happens on the higher time frame. It's still not here, but it's with this low. All right, that's the SMT. And so from there, there's also many SMT within this mess of candles right here. At this time, ES was still trading lower. And so it's possible. I'll talk about that on the 1 minute time frame. Just fits better. Then SMT of these lows, again, not sure why it's not showing up on this time frame, but SMT of these lows finally pushes us up, taking out this high, retracing to this 5 minute, and then one more time up above this high. And you can see that's our target for the day as we retrace back into the range. 1 minute time frame. So here, again, 5 minute fair value, inverse for value gap, sends market down. Bunch of SMTs down here. I don't even have all the lower time frame ones marked, but I have the big ones in my mind, or at least the ones that I saw that affected my bias, I guess I'll say. So of course we have this higher time frame one right here, connecting these two lows. This is when the SMT happened. It's still an SMT over here, so that's the hard part about it. But my trade was here. Because at this point we had an SMT as well. So we had higher time, like really high time frame SMT, medium time frame SMT, confirming that okay, higher time frame says we're going to stop going down. Middle time frame says we're going to stop going down. Then we get this lower time frame SMT here, which also confirms that we're going to stop going down. And so I entered there, and then of course market um, consolidated through there. Now, what could have tipped me off is how the market had been acting in the macro so far. If we just look first 10 minutes of the macro, we don't really do anything. We just sit here. And usually the macro, at least the 950 to 1010 macro, either has the ability to get us out. Well, each macro has the ability to get us out of consolidation. But I've noticed the 950 to 1010 macro can also put us into consolidation, as is the case here. So could have seen this price action here delivered up, down, whatnot, and said, you know what, I don't like that. Look at the size of these wicks, just up, down, up, down. Not really a big fan. Could have recognized that and not taken the trade. But I mean, it's a learning experience. But I'm not upset that I took this trade because on another day it would have worked, right? I just need to be better at realizing the kind of market that we're in and that the macro won't always get us out of consolidation. But here's the thing. The thing is, we weren't in consolidation until the macro, right? Because we were trending down, retrace, trending down, retrace, right? So we weren't going very far. But then at this point, ES continued to go down, NQ went horizontal. And so I saw, okay, nice. That's showing that we're not going down anymore. I should have waited for ES to give me a change in the state of delivery. And the reason for that is because NQ is going to consolidate until ES is done going down, most likely. So just something to look for in the future. And then we also had this SMT down here, higher time frame once again, which is what the determining factor was and when we started to move. You can see here, consolidation here. This macro was 950 here, which ended up getting us out of that consolidation over here. Really just ran up to these highs. There's no big retrace. Lunch kind of just consolidated. And then once we hit them, we called it quits for the day, and then started to fall back into the range. Now, bad trading day? No, it's one of those where being in the markets with enough experience, you should be able to recognize that. And what I am realizing right now is I need to read the behavior of the macros first because, like I mentioned, it's very common for macros to either put us in consolidation or take us out of consolidation. And the opening range isn't always the best hint at that because the first 10, 15 minutes of market open can run and then we can consolidate hitting once we hit 950, consolidate until the next macro at 1050 and then go, right? It's all a matter of what the market's doing, right? It's not always like the market's going to play nice or give us a big boost. That's just not how it is. So I just need to remember that just because it's a macro does not mean that price will take off and expand. Sometimes it'll consolidate. It'll build orders at lows or highs to help accumulate orders to take us into the desired direction, which today was bullish. So looking at the rest of the week, I don't believe this is an SMT of highs. Oh, okay, it is. Wait, I'm confused. Friday at 12. It's Monday. What? Friday at 12 p.m. This high. Okay, the markets are a mess right now. We have a bunch of high time frame SMTs. Yeah, so we had an SMT here, which forced us down, and then we came up here, and we have an SMT of these highs. But technically, it's this high, which we still have that SMT. And given that the market opened here and just went, I think we're going to come take this. I think today is going to be this week is going to be a bearish week for no reason other than Monday was bullish and we have no sell side action. And we already expanded up a decent amount. If we look, we're already where we are now, we're up 134 points. And we have another 134, let's say, of buy side that has been retraced off of. So that's 300, give or take, points of buy side action. That's a pretty big wick. And I find it hard to believe that we're going to do this, come all the way back down, and then somehow expand. So I think we're either going to have a bearish week or we're just going to end right where we started. But I do believe the next day, maybe more, are going to play bearish to at least take us down here to market open on Wednesday, or sorry, on Sunday. So it's been your market recap for October 6, 2025.